All right, so we're diving into something pretty captivating today, but also a little intimidating, the Mega Millions lottery.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you send over all these articles about it,
Uh-huh.
about how those jackpots just get gigantic.
Right.
And even some stuff about, well, how fair those odds really are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating how those huge numbers, kind of
Yeah.
play with our minds a little bit. We'll get into that, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So are you ready to unpack all of this?
I am. It's a fascinating world where we've got, like I said, these huge numbers butting up against how we think as people, human psychology. And we're going to explore why those odds,
Right.
are so astronomically against us.
Yeah.
But why people keep playing.
Yeah, and I think a good place to start is with that number that always makes my eyes glaze over a little bit.
Okay.
It's that 1 in 302,575,350 chance of winning the Mega Millions jackpot.
Right.
And, I mean, that's straight from the AP News article.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around, isn't it?
It really is.
It's almost like a meaningless number on its own.
Right.
That's why I found those analogies
Yeah.
in that Giant Numbers Baffle the Mind article so helpful,
Mhm.
Like, for instance,
Yeah.
imagine you're flipping a coin
Okay.
and getting heads 28 times in a row.
Oh, wow.
That's about as likely as winning the Mega Millions.
Okay. Yeah, I can barely get heads twice in a row, so
Right.
28 is pretty hard to imagine.
Yeah, and there was another good one in there.
Okay.
Remember the one about picking a random second
Oh, yeah.
out of 9 years
Yes, out of 9 years.
and getting it right
Wow.
on the first try?
Yeah.
I mean, these are the kinds of odds we're talking about here.
So basically, you're telling me I'm more likely to be, like, struck by lightning while also being attacked by a shark?
Well, not quite simultaneously.
Okay.
But you're more likely to be eaten by a shark, actually. Yeah. It's about a 1 in 264 million chance.
Wow. Okay.
And getting struck by lightning twice,
still more likely
it's still more likely than winning the Mega Millions.
than winning. Wow.
Yeah,
It's kind of wild to think about.
it is.
So knowing all of that,
Yeah.
why are we still running out to buy tickets every single week?
Well, that's where the psychology comes in.
Oh.
That outline excerpt you sent over
Uh-huh.
really digs into this.
Okay.
We're naturally optimistic, right?
Wow.
As humans, we tend to focus on what could happen,
Yeah.
not necessarily what's statistically likely to happen.
I guess everyone thinks, hey, someone has to win, so why not me?
Right.
Even if the odds are, basically zero.
Yeah, and you know what we shouldn't forget?
Yeah.
That CBS News piece that we talked about before,
Right.
the one that calls the lottery selling hope, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
They really understand how people are drawn to that,
Right.
that dream of a life-changing win, even if the reality is, very, very different.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
And those jackpots, I mean, they just keep getting bigger and bigger.
right.
How does that even happen? Is it just because no one's winning?
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
Okay.
But it's also kind of built into how Mega Millions is structured,
Mm-hmm.
You got to pick 5 white balls plus that 1 mega ball, right?
Yeah.
There are just so many possible combinations,
Okay.
and that's how you get those,
Okay.
1 in 302 million odds.
Wow.
And then, of course, when no one wins, well, the prize rolls over,
Yeah.
it gets even bigger. And,
Yeah.
of course, that just attracts even more players.
So those huge jackpots are kind of like designed to happen.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, and that's where we start getting into some ethical questions.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Those articles that you sent over, especially that one from Outline, really made me think.
Yeah.
I mean, are these massive jackpots actually taking advantage of people,
Yeah.
especially people who might already be struggling financially?
That's a good question, right? I mean, it's a real concern.
Yeah, and it's pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
It makes you wonder if the whole system is set up to benefit,
Yeah.
the people running the lottery more than the players.
Definitely something to think about.
Right. It's a perspective worth considering, for sure.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's not just about those huge jackpots.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes those odds can be manipulated even further
Oh, right.
in a bad way.
Yeah, you're talking about that whole hot lotto scandal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That Wikipedia article really laid it all out.
Yeah.
This guy, Eddie Tipton,
Oh, yeah.
basically rigged the system.
Wow.
He was the one in charge of the random number generator,
Mm-hmm.
and he figured out how to predict the winning numbers.
So it wasn't even random.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's crazy.
Crazy, but it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, but ultimately he didn't get away with it.
Okay, well, that's good.
His scheme spanned multiple states.
Wow.
He won millions illegally.
Mm-hmm.
And it even sparked a class action lawsuit from other players
Yeah.
who felt cheated, and rightfully so, right?
Right.
I mean, the system is supposed to be based on pure chance,
Yeah.
but this just shows how vulnerable it can be
Yeah.
to manipulation.
It's kind of scary to think that the whole thing could be rigged.
It is a little bit, yeah.
So I guess the next question is there anything we can do
Right.
to improve our odds? Like,
Good question.
are there secret strategies, tricks?
Yeah, are there ways to kind of like beat the system?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to unpack next.
Okay, awesome.
So stay tuned for that.
All right, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into Mega Millions.
All right, so we've established that the odds of winning the Mega Millions are about as good as me becoming, I don't know, a unicorn astronaut.
Not quite, but
Okay.
pretty close.
Close. Yeah, it's clear that those odds are astronomically against us.
Yeah.
But people still play.
They do.
So what's going on here?
Well, I mean, we've talked about the psychology of it, you know, the hope, the allure of those massive jackpots. But there's another layer to all of this, I think, that's worth considering. You know, it's how lotteries actually function within society as a whole. That CBS News article that we mentioned earlier, the one that called the lottery a regressive tax.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that one really stuck with me.
Yeah, that one got me thinking.
It's a compelling argument, right? Because, you know, folks with lower incomes tend to spend a larger chunk of their earnings on lottery tickets, right?
Right.
So the system kind of disproportionately impacts them.
So it's like they're contributing more to the system.
Yeah.
But their chances of actually winning are still the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
As everyone else.
And that raises some, you know, some ethical questions about, you know, who really benefits most from lotteries, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about those individual dreams of winning big, but it's really about these larger economic structures that are at play.
I hadn't really thought about it that way before.
No,
it's making me like reevaluate my whole view of the lottery, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex issue for sure. With societal implications that go way beyond just individual players, you know, hoping to win. And this whole idea of massive numbers, like the ones we see with these lottery odds, it's something that affects people globally, you know?
You're talking about that BBC article?
Yes, the BBC article.
About how our brains really struggle to grasp huge numbers.
Yes. It's a fascinating point, you know?
Yeah.
They highlight how our difficulty in understanding, like truly understanding the scale of these astronomical odds, you know, makes us more kind of susceptible to those massive jackpots.
Right.
Regardless of, you know, our background.
So even if we logically know that the odds are really slim, we still get like kind of sucked in by that dream of winning big.
It's a powerful thing.
Okay.
But the good news is that the article offers, you know...
Okay, bit of hope.
Okay, I like hope. It suggests that we can actually train ourselves to kind of overcome those limitations.
Okay, I'm all for outsmarting my own brain.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? Give me some strategies.
Well, you know, one approach they suggest is using analogies and visualizations. Instead of trying to wrap your head around a number like 302 million.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Try to visualize something tangible, you know?
Right.
Like picture a stadium.
Okay, yeah.
Filled with 302 million grains of sand.
All right, I can picture that, yeah.
Only one of those grains represents a winning ticket.
Whoa, okay. That puts it into perspective.
Right.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
Makes those odds feel a lot more real.
Exactly.
So it's about shifting our focus from that giant jackpot number to like visualizing all those potential losing combinations.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And another helpful strategy, I think, is to kind of reframe how we think about the lottery altogether.
Okay.
So instead of seeing it as an investment opportunity, think of it more as a form of entertainment.
Okay.
Like going to the movies or something.
Okay, yeah.
You know, you go to the movies expecting to be entertained.
Right.
Not to walk out with $1 million.
Right. Yeah.
So if you choose to play the lottery, do it do it for the fun of it.
Okay.
Not because you're expecting to get rich.
Right.
And if you do decide to play,
Yeah.
set a budget.
Yeah.
And stick to it.
Okay.
Don't let the excitement of a rollover,
right.
Lead you to spend more than you can afford.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's solid advice.
Okay, good.
And honestly, after everything we've talked about, about these astronomical odds, I'm starting to think maybe those $2 are better spent on, I don't know, a cup of coffee or something.
That's probably true.
But let's get back to that question of improving our chances.
Okay.
Is there really nothing we can do?
Well, there's no magic formula or secret strategy that guarantees a win.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, it's a game of chance.
Right.
But there are a few things you can do.
Okay, listening.
To kind of maximize your potential winnings. Okay. If you happen to hit the jackpot.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So tell me more about these jackpot boosting tips.
Well, one approach is to choose numbers that are less commonly selected.
Okay.
Now, this might seem counterintuitive, but
it does.
If you win, right?
Okay.
And your numbers are unique, you're less likely to have to split the prize.
Okay.
With other winners.
So avoid those popular birthdays and anniversary dates.
Exactly.
Pick
numbers that are a little bit more out there.
And more unique, yeah.
Yeah. Another strategy is to consider joining a lottery pool.
Okay, the power of teamwork. I like it.
Yeah.
But how does that actually work?
Well, when you pool your money together, with others, you can buy a larger number of tickets,
right.
which technically increases your odds.
Okay.
But make sure you have a clear agreement in place,
Right, that's important.
About how any winnings would be divided.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up in a legal battle with your friends over a split jackpot.
That would be bad, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And before we move on, what about those websites and systems that claim to predict winning numbers based on past results?
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah. Are those legit?
It's tempting to try to find patterns, right?
Right.
In past lottery results.
Yeah.
But the reality is that each drawing is completely random.
Right.
Those little ping pong balls have no memory.
So it's all just a bunch of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The best way to approach the lottery is to embrace the randomness.
Okay.
Pick your numbers, cross your fingers,
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
And maybe do a little visualization exercise.
Yeah, good idea.
To remind myself of just how vast those odds actually are.
Exactly. A healthy dose of reality never hurts, right?
Well, that doesn't mean we have to, completely abandon the dream.
No, not all.
There's something captivating about that possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Even if the chances are incredibly slim.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But as we've explored in this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
It's crucial to approach it with open eyes.
Right. Okay.
Understand the odds.
Yeah.
Be mindful of the psychology and just make informed choices that align with your financial goals.
All right. Well said.
Thank you.
And speaking of financial goals, I'm actually curious to explore those alternative ways to invest money that you talked about before.
Okay.
The ones that might not have that flashy jackpot appeal, but could actually provide a more reliable path to financial well-being.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And that's actually what we're going to unpack in the final part of this deep dive.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
So stay tuned for that.
Sounds good. Welcome back to the final part of our Mega Millions deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We've talked about those crazy odds, the psychology that keeps us all playing, and even how the lottery kind of fits into a bigger
picture,
societal picture. Yeah, but now it's time to get practical.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know those lottery odds aren't exactly in our favor.
No.
So what are some smarter ways to think about our money?
Good question.
You mentioned some alternative investment strategies earlier. Ones that might not have, that flashy jackpot.
Yeah.
But could actually offer a more
reliable path to financial well-being.
Exactly. So let's dive into that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I'm ready to ditch the daydreams of winning big and really get down to some real-world strategies.
Right, let's do it.
So where do we start?
Well, a classic option is the stock market.
Okay.
It's not without its risks, of course, but historically, investing in stocks over the long term has been a pretty solid way to build wealth.
Okay, but the stock market always seems so intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's just starting out.
I understand.
It feels like you need a finance degree.
Yeah.
Just to understand it all.
That's a common feeling for sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be so overwhelming.
Okay.
There are a ton of resources out there that can help you, get started.
Yeah.
You could work with a financial advisor who can kind of guide you through the process, or if you prefer a more kind of hands-on approach.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of online platforms now that make it super easy to buy and sell stocks.
I like the sound of easy.
Right.
But what about, those of us who are maybe a little more risk averse? Are there any options that are a bit safer?
Definitely.
I take.
Bonds are generally considered, a safer bet than stocks.
Okay.
They usually offer lower returns.
Okay.
But they're also less volatile.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Another option is real estate.
Okay.
You could buy a rental property or invest in a REIT.
What's a REIT?
A REIT is a real estate investment trust.
Okay.
And it allows you to basically invest in real estate without actually buying property directly.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Those are some great ideas, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
None of them really have that same, winning the lottery
No, they don't.
excitement.
Right.
There's no big drawing to look forward to. There's no daydreaming about what you would do with all that money.
That's true. But you have to remember that thrill of the lottery, it often comes with a pretty hefty price tag. Most people end up losing money.
That's true.
On lottery tickets. These alternative investments that we're talking about, they offer the potential for steady long-term growth.
So it's like a trade-off then.
It is.
The chance of a massive but unlikely payoff versus the slower but potentially more secure returns.
Exactly. And ultimately, the best strategy for you is going to depend on your own individual financial goals, how much risk you're comfortable with, and how long you plan to invest your money.
This has been so eye-opening.
Has it?
Yeah.
Good.
I think it's important to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to personal finance. It's really about figuring out what works for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And even if we never hit that Mega Millions jackpot, there are so many other ways to achieve our financial dreams.
There are. Yeah.
It might take a bit more time and effort.
Sure.
But the rewards can be just as satisfying.
Absolutely. And arguably even more so.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Into the world of Mega Millions.
Oh, of course.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights today.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe even a new perspective on how to invest your money and your hopes.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
And remember, the journey to financial well-being.
Yes.
It's ongoing.
It is.
It's a process.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And by learning and making informed decisions and really taking control, you can create a path towards a more secure and fulfilling future.
I agree.
So until next time,
okay.
Keep learning.
Keep learning.
Keep exploring and keep diving deep.
Absolutely.